Welcome to Distorted Opinions. Normally, I'd tell you that as always, I'm here with Matt and Ted, but in a rare turn of events, I am not here with either one of them. I am here with, you've seen her on our video game episodes in the past. I am here with Quicia, who has joined me at the last moment on this show. Thank you, Quicia, for making the time so that I didn't have to ramble on for an hour by myself talking about today's particular topic. We're going to talk about, and I know we're about a week behind on this at the point that this is dropping, but MTV just celebrated its 40th anniversary last weekend on August 1st. And we thought that this might be a good topic to talk about this episode because there's a lot. I mean, we grew up on MTV and it was very different than it is now. And we've touched on that in some previous episodes, that MTV is not what it once was, but we're going to talk a bit about what we remember of MTV and talk a little bit about the history. So if you want, I'll kind of tee it up with some of the history, and then from there we can talk about
let's do it.
Videos.
Thanks for having me. I had no problem. You know, COVID times, we're still here. We're still here.
That's right. We're still doing these from home. So yes. It's that's the nice thing. I can manage to rope somebody into hosting this with me at the last second because we don't have to show up at a studio or something. So that's kind of nice.
I will guest host with you anytime.
Oh, awesome. Well, I might take you up on that more than once. So.
My mouth is out there. We're doing this. We're doing this. You know what? That's fine. It can be its own little segment. All right. It's ladies' night, day,
that's right.
Time. Let's do this.
That's right. All righty. So yeah, as I said, MTV, for those who are not familiar, if you're a youngster watching this, MTV, when it started, was actually a network that played music videos, hence the M in MTV. It was music video or music television. And it got started on August 1st, 1981, which, and this is probably going to blow your minds too, to think about this today. But at the time, cable was a new medium and only about 20% of households were subscribed to cable at the time that MTV got started. And let that sink in for a second, because
you couldn't ask somebody for their cable subscription unless you had like some wires and stuff. Think about it. You couldn't just tune in to MTV using somebody else's password.
That's right. It was not, there was no streaming. There was none of that. There was pay-per-view, which was, I guess, the modern day version of like Hulu or Netflix. And I think it still exists, but I mean, how many people really use it? Because there's Hulu and Netflix. So yeah, very few people had cable, which is a weird thing to think about. The original founders, I guess, were radio guys, and they kind of wanted to bring that same concept to a 24/7 music video channels, which is where they kind of developed the idea for MTV. It aired only, I guess, in Paramus, New Jersey when it initially premiered, which is like, why Paramus?
Or it explains the Jersey Shore so much more. Either way, crazy things come out of Jersey, man. MTV being one of them. Look at that.
I mean, could you picture though, like if you worked for the network, you had to go to Paramus, New Jersey, if you actually wanted to see the channel when it came on at 12:01 on August 1st, 1981. It's just very bizarre to think about.
Yeah. Let me take a bus. Let me take a Peter Pan to go visit some cousin or friend.
That's right. Crash on someone's couch,
right? Yeah.
Hang out in a bar or something, like, you know, someplace that had cable, which again, motels, I still think it's funny when they advertise that they have free cable and color TV, because that's just something that these days people wouldn't even think about. But, you know, it's another one of those things that it was not really a thing back then. So it was fairly new and it was a big deal to have it. So as you can imagine, with MTV being a new concept, people were a little bit skeptical about putting money into music videos, because why spend a lot of money for something that you're not necessarily sure what the benefit's going to be? And so a lot of those early videos were very low budgets. But as people realized that music videos were a thing that was becoming really popular. They realized there was a lot of value to them and that they could sell more records this way, and that they could get their music out in front of more people in a different creative way. It took off, and bands and record labels started investing more money into music videos. So
it's interesting because like think about like what prompted you to, you know, like get a record or something. For us was always like seeing the video and then having that segue or have you go down the rabbit hole.
Right.
So like, I can't imagine what it was like prior. I can't.
Right. Well, and I don't want to get into it too much now because I do have something in my notes about it later. But if Ted were here, I know that Ted, a lot of the music he has listened to recently, he's found through music videos on YouTube. So, you know, I'm sure we could talk at some point about how, you know, is YouTube kind of the new MTV? Because that's where a lot of bands turn to put their music videos. I don't think, well, first of all, MTV not really showing a lot of music videos anymore.
So when was the last time, think about it. When was the last time like you turned into MTV to watch a music video, or just tuned into MTV, or watch something that piqued your interest on MTV outside of the occasional VMAs?
I watched like 2 episodes of Catfish or Catfishing? And that's only because somebody we went to high school with was an editor on that show. And that is the only reason that I watched any of those episodes when that was on. But it wasn't like I didn't sit down and watch every episode of that show. I just think most of the stuff they have on MTV right now is stupid, but I'm not a big reality TV fan.
It's all reality TV.
Right. Huh. So yeah, I don't know. I can't think of the last time I turned on MTV and saw a music video. However, there's MTV Classic, which if you download the Pluto app, which is free, and I think also if you're a Comcast subscriber, you can watch Pluto on Comcast as well, but they have MTV Classic, and that shows all music videos.
Oh, nice.
And that's about the only way, like that's the last time I think I watched a music video on MTV, and I use the term loosely because it's not MTV, it's some online channel that MTV runs that's like, well, we don't really have to put a lot of money into this, so it doesn't matter if not a lot of people see it. I mean, I don't know if that's actually the mindset, but I feel like that's the mindset. They're going to put the reality shows on their regular channel because the sponsors are going to give them money for people to be watching those. But yeah, I don't know. I haven't watched MTV in ages, but I mean, like I said, back in our day, like when we were in middle school, high school, there was pretty much nothing but music videos. And there were occasionally shows that were not, you know, just them playing music videos, but they still tied into music in a way
they had, like,
that
news on. Remember, they had like news.
Yeah, they had the news segment with Kurt Loder and
journalists. They had actual journalists on their TV.
Yeah, so music news, but news nonetheless.
News on there. It seemed interesting. And then as I think more impactful things happen, of course, they would spend a little bit more time than the regularly scheduled programming to focus on said topic. But it's crazy to think about, like, that's how a lot of people got introduced probably to like various artists, and how you were able to kind of be able to dip and dive between different genres of music in MTV, because at one point they were, though they started out, it didn't feel like they were very diverse when they first started out. At least.
No, they weren't.
Yeah. Yeah.
In fact, I think I saw when I was looking online, David Bowie actually kind of called them out on that.
He did. And I mean, you can't have Iman as a wife, and he's also just a genius. Like he was very understanding, I suppose. And you're right. He like called it out.
Yeah. And then they came out with, oh geez, I don't think I have it in my notes. Was it Yo MTV Raps? Was that the, was that the show?
Yes, they changed, because that was like what, mid 80s, and I'm sure like, you know, Michael Jackson and Prince and
sure,
you have artists putting out those types of hits, not just great music videos, but hits too. These were like
Thriller.
Oh, come on.
Yeah.
Come on. People still doing the dance. People still doing the dance every Halloween. Tell me not. there's always a Michael Jackson for sure somewhere in the world. So yeah, like stuff like that. You know what I mean? Iconic moments happened, I think, because of David Bowie's boldness, and then because artists just kicked that door down.
Right. For sure. I mean, like I said, it started out very low budget, low quality, and then they started putting more money into it. And then, yeah, MTV was absolutely responsible for, I think, a lot of iconic videos that we still talk about today. We still talk about on this show on Distorted Opinions. We've talked about some of these videos in the past, but Michael Jackson's Thriller. Yeah. Peter Gabriel's Sledgehammer is another one that I remember seeing. I think that was stop motion, if I recall. And it's all like a close up of his face, and there's all this weird stuff happening, like coming out of his head and stuff. And I haven't seen it in years, but I still remember it because it's very iconic in my mind. And then you and I were talking before we got started, probably one of the most iconic videos, I would say. Like, I don't feel like I'm going out on a limb by saying this. I feel like it's quite possibly one of the most iconic videos, a-ha's Take On Me.
Oh, 100%. 100%. One of the greatest pieces. First of all, it's a great piece of music. I'll call it a great piece of music. I know it annoys people in bars and stuff, but I think it's a great piece of music. And that music video is like, bar none, the greatest thing that's ever happened in a music video. Right. It crossed, like, you can speak to this. You're like heavy in production, but that music video, I think, well produced, and the fact that they had animation in it, like hand-drawn animation, is impressive. Absolutely impressive. And you can watch that music video right now and be like, wow.
Yeah. No, it's still impressive today. I don't think that the younger generations of today, given the advances in technology, could even wrap their heads around what it probably took to make that music video, because there's so many applications out there that you can create that kind of effect very easily now. Whereas that was all, like you said, hand drawn. It was all hand drawn sketches, and they were tying in actual live people into these sketches.
Seamless. It, like, you know, when you have those shots of them like going, he's like viewing through it's reversed. You see the camera first of all, amazing camera, right? Oh, yeah. Action. And then it's great animation, and to make it just seem seamless, absolutely seamless, is crazy. And you're right. Like, for that time, I can't imagine. Like, that's like, you ever had to do like the flip book challenge? You know what I mean? Like in art school, like they gave
stick
you
figures. That was mine. Stick figures. I was not capable of anything more than that. Like, which is why I can't wrap my head around that music video.
That's what I mean. Like, for all you youngins out there, if you listening in, like, just get some paper. Actual paper. All right, you're gonna have to fold it a few times, and then, you know, you're gonna have to sit there page after page and try to make a dot move. Okay. But that was frame after frame of very elaborate drawings.
Right. I can't even imagine. I probably should have looked up before we got started, but I can't even imagine how many hours went into drawing and animating. See how
much that was too. Like, even if we're, you know, scaling to what it is now, it still has to be a hugely expensive.
So it came out in 1985. Wow. Let's see. If you have not seen the music video, which,
first of all, stop and go watch it. Like, if you're listening YouTube right now.
So I found this website, vulture.com, where they're talking about it. I'm trying to figure out the cost, but they sum it up here. Nice. It is a video in which a woman, actress Bunty Bailey, gets yanked out of a cafe by lead singer Morten Harket of a-ha, and into a black and white animated realm where they fall in love and get chased by bad guys.
Yes.
And then also, apparently, Money for Nothing by Dire Straits was also an animated video.
Really?
But that was 3D animation. I don't know if I've ever seen that one. I think I'm gonna have to go look it up.
Right.
So let's see. Take On Me earned 8 nominations and won 6 awards at the 1986 MTV Video Music Awards. there anything about cost? Oh, apparently Peter Gabriel's Sledgehammer also came out that same year.
Oh.
Let's see. Oh, they go into like the real technical of how they made that video, which is probably a little more than we want to get into, but they used rotoscoping.
What is rotoscoping?
Tracing live action images and rendering them to look like literal moving sketches or drawings.
Oh, crazy.
So let's see. Steve Barron was the director, and he also directed Billie Jean, Human League's Don't You Want Me, and Madonna's Burning Up.
Wow. Think about that too. The directors that came out of MTV, like that's another level.
Oh, so he says that the production budget on the video was about £100,000, which equates to around $400,000 in 2020 value. And he said, we rarely got that kind of budget. It was a budget designed to really do something special. So, I mean,
did something special. They delivered. They understood the assignment.
Yeah. And I mean, you know, I don't know how much we want to get into Take On Me, or if we want to save a little of that for the end, not to give anything away. But,
who cares? This is our time.
That's right. So, you know, Take On Me, I feel like we were talking about this a little bit before we started as well, but, you know, how popular do you think that song would have been had it not been for that music video? Because I feel like the music video has a lot to do with why that song is as well known as it is.
Yeah.
Because it's so iconic.
That's a good argument. I think that's a fair argument. Because for us especially, I think the only way we would have been introduced to it is by the music video. Because it's not like, well, at least for me, you'll probably have a different perspective, but it's not like radio wasn't huge in the house. And the only time that I could, you know, explore music was through television first, then radio second. I think that radio happened on Saturdays, coincidentally enough, because that was the only time we were cleaning the house and my dad said no TV. So like all we could do was like take out this massive like silver
box.
Yes, it was silver, massive antenna. He put it like at the end of the hallway. But he got to select the station. So a lot of it was like the stations that he would choose were probably like more 60s, 70s. So the only way that I would be able to listen to anything quote unquote modern for the time, which for us, if we were, you know, raised in the 90s would be like 80s, 90s music, would be because of MTV. So I think that's fair. Like I saw the music video, was blown away. And then you realize it's just catchy as fuck, man. Like, it's such an 80s tune, but think about the impact on like an artist like The Weeknd, who his latest album has a very 80s feel to it. Like, clearly that's an iconic sound for the time. Take On Me kind of like grabs it and like runs with it and then like hits us with those vocals. So yeah, I definitely watched the video first.
Yeah, no, and I mean, even now, if I were to hear that song come on the radio or in a Spotify playlist or something,
do you sing it?
But what comes to mind is that video. Every time, like in the back of my mind, I picture the animated characters in that video, even to this day. And I haven't watched the video in years. I actually, when I was looking up notes for the show, it was in one of the write-ups that I read, but I didn't get around to clicking play. I wanted to watch it and then I moved on to something else. And so I'm going to have to go watch it after this because it's been forever and it's just such a great video. But I mean, I feel like that's the case with so many. It's funny because the first video that was shown on MTV was Video Killed the Radio Star by, is it the Bugles or the Buggles? I'm not sure how you pronounce the name of them. And a lot of people truly felt that music videos were going to be the end of radio. It was going to be the end of people listening to music on the radio. And it actually...
Like if we had to put ourselves in that mindset in that time frame, like why do you think, other than like these crazy kids, maybe it's just like an okay boomer moment, like I
think because it was a new thing and people just didn't didn't know what to make of it and didn't know how it was going to be received, and that making a music video is like, aside from writing the music and recording the music, that's yet another step of effort and money that you have to put into something. And what's the reward going to be for the risk, I think, at the time of doing that. So, you know, I can see where there would have been skepticism about it, but it definitely ended up having the opposite effect, because I think more people discovered that music through seeing a music video. And for a lot of people at that time too, it was also a way to kind of be able to experience an artist. If you couldn't go see them in concert, it was a way to be able to watch them on TV. And I mean, even so, fast forwarding,
you get to sample them a little bit.
Right. Yeah. Right. All right. Pretty much. And fast forwarding a little bit beyond just your standard music videos, MTV also had other shows that were music related that weren't necessarily straight music videos, that also kind of brought different artists and different songs to an audience that may have never seen them, or they brought a different. So like, for example, the Unplugged series was a good series. It was, and I don't know, they may still be doing it. I don't know if they've done any currently, but I think they were still doing them as of like the early 2000s, which I did not realize. But that was another opportunity to experience, for those who are not familiar with it. It was basically well-known artists and bands would come in. I think most of them were in New York, but not all. Nirvana did an Unplugged series, and it's all just acoustic performances by those artists. And that was another different way to experience a band. Even if you were already a fan of that band and you'd heard all of their songs, now you're getting to hear them playing in an intimate acoustic setting. And it's a well-produced program. They recorded them and made them available on CD, so you could also listen to those songs in your car or in your little Sony Walkman DVD player.
There's such great performances that came out of that.
Yeah, for sure. Memorable, very iconic performances. And so, you know, even though it wasn't a music video in the traditional sense of what MTV had created, they had also created these other programs that brought you music. And that's one that's more of a traditional, like a concert series type of thing. But then they also had Headbangers Ball with Ricky Rackman was on for a long time. And apparently, I didn't realize this, but I guess they brought that back a couple of times and it didn't do so well. They brought it back in 2003 on MTV2. Oh. But I guess it was more of a like studio interviews and music videos, and it wasn't really true to the original, which was they'd go out and they'd interview bands at concerts and they'd show footage of concerts, and it was more in the field kind of stuff. And so a lot of people kind of gave them some crap and there was some backlash about it. But I didn't realize that March of this year, they brought it back with Ricky Rackman on an online, I guess it's on a web platform, Give Me Metal TV. And it's more like the original show where apparently they're interviewing bands and I guess going to concerts and stuff. So I'm going to have to check this out because I didn't realize this was a thing.
Yeah, because these are like, if you think about it, these are like quality, these are some quality shows that if they decided to bring back, they would do very well. I don't know, again, not huge into MTV now, but I can't imagine that it'd be impactful if they just started, you know, streaming and using various services like everybody else in their mama to captivate people again with something as simple as, especially now, think about it, like I can't wait to go to like a concert again. So if this is what I had access to right now, then I would love that. I would love that.
Right. Yeah. I mean, you know, that was just
MTV.
You know, and again, so one of the things that I also found in my research today is that MTV apparently redesigned the Moon Man in celebration of the 40th anniversary. And we were looking at the, I'll try to drop in a picture of it here in the video version, but we were looking at this new design and it's basically the old Moon Man, but it's got vines and plants growing on it, which I guess it's supposed to be a take on one of the Obama the pieces of Obama
his presidential
art.
portrait. Yeah.
However, I just don't understand. It's a moon man. He's supposed to be in outer space. There's no plants in outer space. So I'm also like, I'm a little stuck on the the realism of it, but it's an award. It's a statue. It's not a real thing. So I know I'm going to get some crap probably from some people for that comment.
Yeah, there's someone, one of the new generation out there. Listen, we're sorry. We don't understand educators because like for us, all we saw was a moon man. It was supposed to, music is atmospheric. That's pretty much it. But I don't know what's going on right now in the world of MTV, where maybe they needed to make some type of impactful change, and this is what they chose. I mean, it's
trying to evolve.
It's real pretty. I just, it's nice.
But why?
Yeah,
that's the question I have. Why?
Yeah, right. I just don't, and like MTV nowadays, I think it's just more reality. And is there not enough diversity in what they are streaming to which they needed? I don't know. This movement is only given out at the VMAs. So like, why is this like a huge endeavor? Right. But it matters to somebody. I don't know. Drop it in the comments.
I mean, so one of the articles I read, they were talking to some CEO with MTV, and he was talking about that this is part of you need to evolve with the times, and they're trying to evolve to kind of tie in more with the Gen Z crowd, but
they can tie in music. They can try.
Right. I don't like, so here's the thing that I found to be really bothersome is that I found an article on Barstool Sports that apparently on Sunday, when they had their 40th anniversary, you might have thought MTV would have played like some throwback classics, or they would have had something put together to be like, this is our 40th anniversary.
Yeah.
They played a 24-hour marathon of ridiculousness. Wow. Which I'm like, really?
That's not even what got you, like, that's not even what made you the impactful, like, network that you were. It was your music videos. It was those iconic only MTV moments that could happen at the time. Not ridiculousness.
Right. Like, why is that how you chose to spend your 40th anniversary? Is that's what you're going to air? Nothing special. So, I mean, again, they're not even trying to appeal to the music crowd at this point. And
they're just existing.
Right. And it's unfortunate. They basically moved all the music to their sub channels like MTV2 and MTV Classic. And it's the same thing. We're not talking about VH1 right now, but VH1, it's the same thing. They used to be Video Hits 1. It used to be all music videos all the time. And even there, I don't even know if VH1 exists anymore, actually, now that I think of it. I don't know when the last time was that I turned on VH1, probably the late 90s.
It shows
last thing I remember
with streaming services.
That and just the last thing I remember actually watching on VH1 was Behind the Music. And
yes.
I don't think they've done those in years.
No, I think they're bringing those back.
Oh, are they?
I think. Now, I'm sure I'll be corrected, but at least I saw something in some random social network ad about having Behind the Music come back in a form. But they were artists that were impacted or have done one previously. So we're talking like J-Lo, LL Cool J, like a lot of them that had already done Behind the Music before. We're about to reprise it and talk about either music videos or major music moments for them as an artist, and, give their perspective in hindsight now that they're, where they're at in their life. And I think that'd be really interesting. Because right now, I don't know if it's because I'm not as active. Again, COVID's changed everything, right? Like I'm not listening to the radio because I'm not like commuting and out of work anymore. So I really have to, you have to put forth effort into, getting a hold of like new and new artists coming, or like take it back and I really want to listen to this. There's effort involved now versus it just happening with life. But I think that would be something that's really awesome, again, because music seems like it's taken a little bit of a backseat during these times.
Sure. Yeah. I don't know. It's very interesting. I feel like I feel like MTV and VH1, they've gone down such a rabbit hole with all these reality shows that they just can't come back from it at this point. Like, you know what else I think it is too? Reality TV is cheap, and other types 100%. Of programming aren't. Like, having to put together an Unplugged series probably costs a lot of money, because you have to bring in the bands, you have to bring in their crews to, you know, be able to set them up, and that costs money. To do a well-produced show costs money. To do, even like the early days of MTV, they even had cartoons that, while they were not music, they heavily tied into music. Beavis and Butthead was all about the music.
Their animation game gave us Beavis and Butthead, and didn't it give us Daria? Like, yes, Daria summed up the 90s.
They also had I don't know how much, because I haven't seen it in ages, so I don't know how much it really tied into music, but they had Celebrity Deathmatch, which was that claymation series.
Oh my God, it came on late too, right?
Yes. Like Mills Lane is the ref. It was so bad. Like, I don't remember much about it, that it was just like, I'm sure whatever they were saying and doing in that show was probably something, if my parents knew I was watching it, they probably wouldn't have been happy. Like, I wasn't allowed to watch Beavis and Butthead. My mom thought Beavis and Butthead was bad, but South Park has gone way above and beyond where Beavis and Butthead was at. So I'm sure by today's standards, she'd be like, yeah, no problem, go ahead and watch that. But I didn't watch that until I was much, much older, because there's no way my mom would have been letting me watch that show. But they tied into music a lot. I mean, aside from the fact that these two kids are always walking around in Metallica and AC/DC shirts, they always had a segment where they were watching music videos, and they would be kind of roasting them, but they'd be watching music videos, and you'd be maybe introduced to a music video and an artist and a song that you didn't know before. So it's still tied in. But today I don't know that I can't even bring myself to watch it today. I can't. So I can't honestly tell you if the shows today have any sort of tie into music. But
I only know about like things that my cousins are into. Again, ridiculousness. The Teen Wolf. I think they still have Teen Mom series, but like none of them are teens. They're all like adult women. So I'm like, I don't know how.
I don't know. Kids are now the teen moms.
Like this is some weird stuff, but it made money. You know what I mean? Like now they're doing like reboots. Like we have the problem with the reboots and every other, network. No network is left unscathed when it comes to reboots. So like I heard that they were trying to do like reunions of like the OC or the Hills and all those shows that were coming out. I think when we were like either in or coming out of high school for sure is when they were like hugely popular. But just the fact of like, why would you want to relive this? Because as you said, it's not even a form of reality TV that's like being watched, because that was like, that's too well produced for what's happening now. Like this is some different stuff.
Right. For sure. Yeah. It's just, it's really amazing to think about all the shows that were on back when we watched it that don't exist anymore. What a different direction it's gone in.
Right. Jackass came on MTV, right?
Oh my God, that's right. Yes.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure we watched a couple episodes at your house.
I'm pretty sure we had a couple of episodes at my house. Like, who are you kidding? I was going through old High 8 tapes recently, and I found some stuff that I'm like, really? Where were the adults when this was happening? Because I feel like this is something that they should have shut that down, because that's not really safe. But meanwhile, it's happening and it's being filmed. And I'm not convinced there weren't some episodes of Jackass being filmed here at my house.
Oh my gosh. Talk about being art imitating life, imitating art. Like,
I mean, I think I don't know where it went, but I actually edited some of those videos like out of high school, and I edited a couple of them to actually look like Jackass. Like, I think I actually ripped off the credits kind of to recreate it. And I think the hard drive I edited that on crashed and I don't have it anymore. But I even that though, I feel like they tied music into it in a way.
For sure.
So even though it wasn't MTV music in the traditional sense, there was still kind of a tie back, but now I feel like they're just so far removed from
so
from
that
music.
was like that episode, like I think it only aired like once a week, and every so often they had, you know, a nice little marathon happening. It's not like shows now where it's like every single show is that same genre, whereas reality TV or those types of just off the wall shows were so few and far between and only aired at certain times in the middle of the night. So you could try to stay up and watch it or try to sneak to a part of your house to be like,
right.
Yeah. Wasn't it Ted saying that he had like the privilege to watch MTV in the morning?
Yes.
I don't know that life. What is that?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. And he was watching, oh geez, what was that show? Apparently it was like Spring Break pretty much, but it was some morning show, so it was just like a bunch of girls on the beach in bikinis dancing around. And
I'm sure every young man and boy that age loved watching MTV in the morning.
I didn't even realize that was a thing that was on MTV in the morning until
I could watch MTV in the morning. I could watch the news, like
right. Yeah, no,
Channel 5. That's what I was watching. The only music I heard in the morning was the jingle to tell me the weather. Like that was
the
it.
News jingle. Yeah. Yeah. No,
this
that's
dude's
true.
Here watching MTV. I'm like, what a privilege that is, man.
Yeah, my MTV viewing didn't start until after school usually. And even then it wasn't every day, but it was, I think like 3 Total Request Live came on. That was Carson Daly.
Whoa, Carson Daly.
For those of you youngsters who aren't familiar with that, that's a show where people would call in, or they had, I think, people on the street as well. And you could request a music video and they'd play the music videos. And it was basically like the top 40 of music videos. And they would do a countdown.
A radio, like the concept of radio, when you like give, you know, listeners call in and be like, can you play that song? But they did it video wise. Oh, the VJs, those video jockeys.
Oh yeah. Now a bunch of them are on the Sirius XM 80s on 8 station. They're now the DJs over there. Not even kidding you. It's a lot of the MTV VJs that are over there running that station. So yeah, it's I mean, you had that, you had Cribs, which was, again, not necessarily music, but it was definitely tied into music. They'd go into an artist's house and basically take a tour, and you get to see these people's mansions and their 12 cars. And
everybody will remember Method Man's crappy looking house. It's like no one could understand why this dude, like, he could have made whatever he made, but you could not take the country bumpkin out of the dude. Like he was keeping that strong.
He was a frugal guy.
He was, but so true. It's like, oh man, Mariah Carey, didn't she have like 2 episodes worth of Cribs?
Geez. I don't even remember.
I mean, of course, right? If anyone's gonna have like a 2 episode extraordinaire in her mansion.
Yep.
Her butterfly palace, whatever it is.
Right. Yep. They had that. They had, was it making the video or behind? No, not behind the music. It must have been making the video. And it was a whole behind the scenes process, which, I mean, that really ties into what they were, because now you were getting a behind the scenes look of how they were making some of these music videos and what was going into it, which I always thought, again, from a production person's perspective, that was always really interesting to see the process of a music video being made. So that was a show that I particularly enjoyed, but I don't actually think it was on for all that long. I think it was only on for a few years.
Couple seasons. But again, some impactful information coming out of those when you're like, yo, this mess is intense. It's intense to make these videos. And they just got more and more extravagant, right?
Right.
More money. But I think what's cool is that it brought up the directors, you know what I mean? Like there are a couple of prominent music video directors that now do film. Now, like they make bank because of MTV and what they've done. So like, I don't think we'd be able to talk about like Michael Bay and what he's done if we not talk about like some of the videos he's made. Like it's crazy. Or I will credit my love for Missy Elliott, not just because of her music is always a hit. But her music videos are always like crazy and ridiculous and awesome. And she featured a lot of dancers. And for someone who danced in high school, like that's why I loved tuning into her art in particular, was because it really spoke to me as someone who like really enjoyed watching all of the dancers and different crews that she had in her music videos.
For sure. Well, I mean, shifting gears a little bit. So now they don't have any of that stuff really on MTV. And I saw Sweetwater, which is, if you're not familiar with Sweetwater is a music instrument company. They sell guitars and drums and DJ equipment, you name it, they sell it. But they had a blog right up on their website about the MTV 40th. And one of the things that they claim is that YouTube is the new MTV.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I would say that's pretty accurate, I think. And now you're even getting, and Ted's talked about this a little bit. Well, he's talked about it quite a bit on previous episodes, because a lot of times his song of the week pick lately has been a band that he's discovered through YouTube by watching their music video. He'll watch one band's music video and then it'll have the suggested videos, and the next one up is
just go down the rabbit hole,
some other band he's never heard of. And these are bands that, even if MTV were still what it was when we used to watch it today, I'm not sure that we would necessarily be seeing or hearing some of these bands that you can find on YouTube now, because it's so easy for bands to make a music video without spending a ton of money now and make that available on YouTube and be able to link it to their website and their merchandising platforms and their social media platforms and all these different avenues that they have to get their art out in front of people. They can now do much more easily and much less expensive than it was in the early days of MTV, where you had to pay a film crew and a producer and a director to come out and make a music video for you. So I think that's another reason why MTV would probably have a little bit of difficulty competing today and trying to bring back what they once were, because now that stuff is just so accessible on YouTube and other areas of the internet that I don't think most people would really turn on their TV necessarily to see it. But I thought that was a really interesting statement, because until I read that, I never would have necessarily compared MTV and YouTube to each other, but it's a valid point, thinking about it, that it pretty much is the new YouTube, the new VH1. I
think, it's true. So there are a couple of times, on late Friday nights, my siblings and I, we have this lovely little group text, and we'll just start rapid firing music videos to like be like, oh, what are you listening to tonight? And then we just start doing music videos. We're talking more about the videos than the actual music, which is really hilarious, because someone has to set the theme. So every now and then, like, it's my older brother sending like, yo, remember this? And then we'll, go back to, oh, remember this video? And then that's the genre at which we're gonna keep going in. So I think for this particular, we were talking about different songs from movies that we were watching at the time. And there are a couple of movies that come out, couple of animated movies that have come out that have really featured music. Sing is one of them. Great animated flick. I think they're doing a second one. But besides the point, I think you could tell we were going through like a rock era, because my brother, I forgot what he requested or what he put in. And then I was like, Queen. And then my sister like took it back. She's like, what about Cyndi Lauper? And it was like we just went down and down and down and down, just pulling all these videos. Because it's like, oh, we're not just going to listen to the song. Oh my gosh, did you watch this video? Did you see this mess in this video? Like crazy. So we have to create those moments, but we're only able to do it because of YouTube. We're able to share those clips.
Right.
With every like moment and suggestion.
Right. For sure. Yeah. So, I mean, I feel like I feel like we unpacked a lot on this particular episode. And, I don't know if we have any viewers or listeners out there that aren't familiar with the MTV of our day, but let's just say that it was very different than the MTV of today. And, you can probably find a lot of these shows or clips of these shows online if you're curious and you haven't seen any of them. But
some of them you can just leave alone. You don't have to look at all of them.
Yeah, that's true. That's
true. Shows that was like, you didn't need to do this. Didn't they had like a wedding phase on MTV that I was really annoyed with. Like as artists and celebrities were getting married, then it had to be like shows about them. So it was like, what I mean?
Yeah, Jessica Simpson and
oh my God, who?
Nick Lachey?
Yes, 98 Degrees. Yes.
Yeah,
him.
I forgot about that. Oh my God, that's right.
It was like it was him, and then I think then there was wait for it. Travis Barker had one. Yeah.
Really?
Yes. Oh, geez, who else? Didn't Ashley Simpson then get a spinoff show because of her sister? Like Probably. It was like one after the other. Those we can do without. Okay, keep your personal married life personal. You don't want to broadcast.
Newlyweds.
There it is.
I had to look it up. I was like, what was the name of that freaking show? Newlyweds. Yes. Oh God. There's actually people asking on Google, where can I watch Newlyweds TV show?
Why? What do you want to relive?
It was on for 3 seasons.
Wow.
Azaria purchased the house, I guess, that they lived in on the show for $5.5 million, in case you were interested in that fun fact. Oh yeah, the Osbournes, I think, was MTV as well.
That is true. So okay. We have the Osbournes.
I forgot about that.
Oh my God. Did Ted Nugent have a show on MTV?
Let's find out, shall we?
He was relevant on there somewhere. Ugh.
Surviving
Different
Nugent.
Times. There it is.
Wow, good memory.
Thank you.
I forgot. That was only on for 1 season.
That's all we needed. Again, you don't need to go back.
I don't think I ever saw that.
You did, Kayla. I can remember because I remember watching it at your house.
Oh, my dad was probably watching it then. So the synopsis is 8 people are sent to Nugent's house, complete with the hunting fields, and have to survive Nugent's wild games and his family.
Absolutely not. I'm not trying to do that now.
Yeah, I forgot all about that. Yeah, I think that was about the time that MTV started to turn and become more of a reality TV show network than a music network. I feel like that's early 2000s.
They were using their music celebrities to create the reality TV rather than looking for talent.
Right.
Ish.
Yeah, you would find the music videos late in the evening at that point, as opposed to during the day. You had to watch like 1 a.m. Yep. Oh man.
Oh my God, that's so true. Yeah. No, I think that's when we had to make the switch from MTV to VH1 if we wanted to watch music videos. Like that was kind of like how it all started transitioning.
Right. And then they kind of followed not too far behind. If I recall, they started out more with playing movies though that were supposed to be about bands and stuff. And I'm trying to remember some of the movies I remember them playing, but they were more of a movie network as opposed to a reality show. Purple Rain had to have played
on there. Had to.
Oh, I'm sure that probably played because that would have fit right into what they were showing on that channel. So
pretty sure that's how I watched it.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. What happened? 40 years.
I don't know. I do not know. And the worst part is just that 40 years and the way they celebrated it was playing a marathon of reality TV shows, or was ridiculousness is like internet stupidity clips, isn't it? Kind of like Tosh.0.
They should have had a concert. You know what I mean? Like, did MTV air one of the most popular, like the Live Aid? Wasn't that like one of the like largest viewing concerts on a cable network?
Let's look it up, shall we?
Yay.
1985, they aired Live Aid.
And it had like a huge viewing.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a whole article I just found. MTV actually has an article on their website. They do have MTV News on their website, by the way.
It's there.
But in 2005, they took a look back at the 1985 Live Aid and how it changed the world. I'm not going to read the whole thing right now because it's a pretty long article here. But yeah, I forgot about that as well.
But like they could have done something like that. You know, they could have really
replayed it. They could have replayed a lot of things. They could have like, yeah. I mean, as a person who spent a decade working in public access,
right?
We celebrate an anniversary and we celebrate it by playing throwback shows that were produced over the years at that station. So, I mean, I feel like MTV's on a larger scale here. They got people on the payroll. Why the heck couldn't they have put something on that was more than just a bunch of reruns of their internet comedy show?
Right. You know something's wrong when I heard about their 40th anniversary again through Channel 5 News. Like, MTV turns 40. I was like, what the hell? What the damn?
I heard about it from you on Saturday. That's how I heard about it. I didn't realize. And then this morning I was listening to The Pike and Mike Shue was talking about it. So actually some of the fun facts I had this show, I learned through Mike Shue talking about it this morning on The Pike. But yeah, I had no idea that it was their 40th anniversary. There was no hype about it. There was no nothing. And I just feel like they dropped the ball on what could have been.
It could have been epic. They could have just revisited all the things that made them amazing, right? All the artists that helped catapult them through different phases, I guess, in their life cycle, in their 40 years. You know, but they just missed the layup. Like, how dare you? You're not going to give us, you couldn't air a couple of music videos for shits and giggles. You couldn't, I don't know, air an iconic VMA moment like Lil' Kim's titty getting jiggled by Diana Ross. You didn't want to do that. Like, I don't know. I don't understand why they just missed the layup. They have so much to go off of and they just missed the fucking layup. Like, I don't get it.
I don't know.
They have so much content to work with, and they didn't. We have so much footage in the vault. We're not going to use any of it, guys.
All I can say is maybe they're saving it up for the big 5-0.
Let's hope they make it that long. That means we'd be making it that long, and I don't know.
Yeah.
We can all blow out candles around that time. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what they were thinking. I would have expected a little more pomp and circumstance for 40 years, but I don't know. Maybe they're embarrassed at the fact that they aren't really a music network anymore. Maybe that's the problem.
It could be. No, they should have definitely, they should have wilded out. They should have went all the way far and made it ridiculous so they could air it on ridiculousness. I don't know. Seems like things they could have done.
Yeah.
Against the layup.
Coulda, shoulda, woulda, but they didn't.
You know, we'll never have those moments again.
Yeah, no, not getting that back. But we'll see. We'll see what happens on the Big 50. Maybe they'll make up for it there with some big giant to do.
Right. Maybe they'll get Carson back to do another countdown for once.
Jesus. They'd have to probably roll him out in a walker at that point.
Hey, he's going strong. He's doing something. I've seen him around. Like
I know. I kid.
Was he like hosting The Voice or something?
Really?
Yeah. Or at least at one point. I don't know if he still is. Can't tell you.
I don't know
but
what
he was there. We don't know what he's up to now.
He last call with Carson Daly.
Okay.
Oh yeah, he was on The Voice. Yeah. Or maybe he is still on The Voice. And then they list him the Today Show since 1952. I feel like there might be a little bit of an inaccuracy there.
He is on there. It's like he's on there every now and then.
Okay, that makes a bit more sense. He's 48, so he's not like...
All right, so another 58.
Can't give him too much of a hard time there, but...
58, yeah. You know? He could do it. He could do it. He could do it. They should get everybody who can to do something, host something. If you're still around MTV, if you're listening, you're probably not, but you should do something. Do anything. Preferably have a live concert, invite everybody, and just let shit hit the fan. Like, that's what you got to do. It's not that difficult. Once you get all these artists and all the space, stuff happens.
Intertwine with some throwback clips, which they must have a huge archive of old programs that they aired.
Stuff that they didn't even air because they're like, we could have never done this.
Bloopers and outtakes and those sorts of things too. Yeah. Well, speaking of bloopers and outtakes, I don't know if now is a good time to move into our song of the week. If we've pretty much, was there anything else you wanted to add, or have we covered most of it at this point?
Yeah. I mean, yeah. R.I.P. MTV, I guess.
That's right. As we know it.
As we know it, for sure.
Yeah, so speaking of bloopers, before we go into the song of the week, just a weekly reminder that we have a Song of the Week Spotify playlist where we put all of our Song of the Week picks in their entirety. If you want to check those out, we put the link in the description to every episode, or if you're watching the video version of the show, we've now got a cool Spotify scan code that we'll put on the screen. All you have to do is open up the Spotify app on your mobile device and click the little camera icon in the search bar and hold it up to your screen, and it'll take you right to our Spotify playlist. And we'll have this week's picks in there as well. And I think we're going to let Quicia do a few extra picks since it's just the two of us and she's a guest host on this. But my kind of MTV blooper / song of the week pick is REO Speedwagon's Take It on the Run off their 1980 album High Infidelity. And the music video for this debuted on August 3rd, 1981. It was technically the first concert video to be aired on MTV. However, it was apparently interrupted 12 seconds into the video with black color bars and then a shot of the studio due to technical difficulties. So it never actually aired in its entirety, but apparently it is still considered to be the first concert video that they aired on MTV. The original title of the song was Don't Let Me Down, and then they changed it to Take It on the Run. It's got a great guitar solo. It's just a super, super catchy, classic REO Speedwagon. Like I said at the beginning of the show, apparently REO Speedwagon got a lot of play in the early days of MTV because they were one of the few groups that had music videos to be shown, and they were pretty low budget, as were most of the videos at that time. But this is a great song, Take It on the Run. If you haven't heard it, check it out. We'll put it into the Spotify playlist. And with that, Quicia, I know you got one that we kind of touched on a little bit already, but you've got another pick as well. So what have you got for this episode?
I mean, Aha, iconic, wonderful, especially when we're talking about music videos. If I have to do another one, and I'll stick around, not the same time. I'll choose this one. One is I Believe in a Thing Called Love, The Darkness.
Oh,
listen. Another great song, great music video. Fantastic, but that's a definite pick. That's another, I don't know, I've been choosing like these things that I love to do for karaoke too. So that's just one of those ones. And for some reason, I know he's not here, but next show I'm gonna request, I'm gonna put this in right now. Matt, I'm gonna need you to sing a couple bars of I Believe in a Thing Called Love. I know you can do it. You're probably doing it as you listen to this right now. So throw that in there for a couple of bars. But that's a definite pick. And then another music video in particular that I will like watch on replay right now. We're going to switch genres. I'm going to go to Welcome to Atlanta by Jermaine Dupri, who the remix though, because he invited all the hot rappers at that time. So you had Welcome to Atlanta, which had Jermaine Dupri and Ludacris, and then he's going to go get P. Diddy, and then he's going to stop by St. Louis, and there's going to be Nelly and all of them. And then what I love about this music video is as you're traveling to various parts of the country, and you're experiencing their way of communicating through their genre. You end with Snoop Dogg, and this is when he was still Snoop Dogg. I know he's had some phases, you know, Snoop Dogg, Snoop Lion. But this was Snoop, and it was just great to have him kind of, you know, tie it all in. It's one of my favorite, not just music videos, but it's a great song too. It just gets, if I'm going out, that's what I'm listening to. So
okay,
those are a couple right there that I think are fantastic.
Okay, awesome. Well, we got some good picks there. Our playlist for the song of the week is pretty eclectic as it is. This episode alone has a very wide variety of different songs in it here. So I
think we should throw in another one. I think we need to throw in
You think so?
One. Yeah, let's throw in another one. I mean, I'm going to throw in only because we talked about this artist and how I think they definitely impacted the trajectory of diversity. You got to put a Michael Jackson hit in there.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm going to go with Bad. All right. Okay. I think that came out in 87. So you know I'm bad. Oh my goodness. First of all, that music video was bad. You know what I'm saying? We're talking that was lit. It was great. It was a great music video. You felt like, yo, these are some dudes you don't want to mess with. And then this dude on roller skates. Like, what is happening here? But I think that's just another just great music video and a great piece of music by someone who just, you know, king of pop. Can't go wrong.
For sure. No, good choice. Because we talked about Thriller. Yeah. And he had some very, very iconic music videos. So
right. And someone who tied in multiple genres as well. You know, not a lot of artists are doing that now. It'd be nice to see more of. I would appreciate it if we can just kind of get various styles of music and get people experiencing all types of music. That's always a win.
Right.
But yeah.
All right. Awesome. Well, folks, we've given you, what are we at? Five picks for this week. So that's a record.
Usually? It's a record?
Well, usually it's one per. And then if we have a guest, we usually tell the guest if they've got an extra pick, we'll let them do an extra pick because they're a guest on the show. But we've never had there've been a lot of firsts tonight. We've never had a situation where it came real close to me doing the show by myself. We've never had a situation where it's been just one of the regular three with a guest co-host. And we've never had a situation where anybody has picked more than two picks. So,
give me my Floral Moon Man. Give me.
I could probably get you one off of eBay if I search hard enough. I don't know if I can get you a Floral Moon Man, but I can get you a Moon Man. I know I saw those. Hang on. How much would one of those cost?
How much is
Moon
a
Man trophy?
Right.
Let's see. Well, I can get you a Funko Pop Moon Man for $11.
That works.
A replica Moon Man is gonna start somewhere in the $130 range.
That's unnecessary.
And then there's this Mirage Novelty World has them for $300, regularly $586.
Regularly $586?
Regularly $586.
Who's
so if it
makes
makes you feel better, you're saving 48% though. Buy it at $299.
That's a deal.
So get right on that. Yeah, I can get you the Funko Pop guy. That's about all I can afford to spring for at the moment. But he looks pretty cool. He's got the color bars MTV logo, and it's kind of like rainbow multicolored. It's actually kind of cool looking, the Funko Pop one.
I'll take a photo. I'll take a photo with the Moon Man, a little customary.
I'll get you a Moon Man. I'll get you a Moon Man for being on the MTV 40th episode.
You know, let's have a speech and have it go over time. And
oh, geez,
I'll throw a bottle in the air. I don't know.
We're virtual, so I can't come out with a cane and drag you off for
going over
saying
time.
You're welcome with the speech there. But I will get you a Moon Man. I think I can spring for the Funko Pop Moon Man.
See, great things happen when the boys are away. Just saying.
Hey, I think every now and then there needs to be a change up here. Keep things fresh. Keep things fresh.
I'm never going to live this down, by the way. I know like one of them are going to I'm going to get a text message from somebody. It's fine. It's fine. I have my request. I have my request. Ted, you need to tell me the show that you're watching again. I need to remember that. And Matt, I'm going to need you to sing some bars. That's all I request.
We'll have to do that for a social media snippet.
Yeah.
But on that note, I think we've given people plenty of songs to check out for this episode, and plenty of potential old show clips to go look at on MTV. And just as a reminder, we have a few ways that you can get a hold of us if you would like to be a guest on the show, or if you have a suggestion for a future topic. You can visit our Anchor page and leave us a voicemail, and you can do that by going to anchor.fm/distortedopinions. There's also links to all of our social media platforms there, as well as a partial list of all the places that the show is available in audio only format. But we're on pretty much all podcast platforms at this point. If you just search for Distorted Opinions, if we're not on your favorite podcast platform, let us know and we'll work on getting on there. You can also find the video version of the show over on YouTube, and I'm not going to link to the YouTube page because right now, we've talked about this in previous episodes, we get a big, long, ugly URL until we get 100 subscribers. And so I would like to be able to get a nice custom Distorted Opinions URL. So if you could go over to our YouTube channel by going to YouTube and searching for Distorted Opinions and subscribing, and let your friends know to subscribe, when we get to 100 subscribers, I can make a nice URL that I can link in the description of all of our shows from now on. And you might be wondering, well, why don't you just make a bit.ly link? Well, because once I make a bit.ly link, I can't reuse that bit.ly link with the new URL. So I'm waiting for us to get the short URL through YouTube. That's what I would like to do. So subscribe to our YouTube channel. You can also reach us via email, distortedopinionshow@gmail.com. We also respond to any comments or messages on social media. You can pretty much get a hold of us however you would like, and we will respond. We have ways of getting your messages and getting your comments. So with that, Quicia, thank you again for joining me on short notice to do this episode. I had a great time. We unpacked a lot more than I thought we were going to unpack in this episode, and I hope our audience appreciated this, and maybe we took you on a journey down memory lane for a few minutes here with some of our conversation. But on that note, thank you for tuning in, and we will see you next week, probably with the whole gang back together again, but we'll see. Not quite sure yet. There's a lot of vacations, a lot of traveling, a lot of people doing things now that life is kind of returning to some normalcy. So you might see a bit more change up now and then, but Quicia agreed to come on the show anytime. So
I put it out there. It's happening.
So she's going to be my first phone call if the guys bail on me last minute again.
Yes. Yes. And next time I'll have the Moon Man ready. Okay.
That's right. That's right. That's right. I'm going to get you the Moon Man here. September is the expected ship date on that. So you might be waiting a bit, but we'll get that. You'll have that for the next time we have you on the show. So Thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you next week with an all-new episode.